Call me darling. What's up, everybody? So it is a beautiful Wednesday afternoon. Man, the sun is shining. The weather is fantastic and it is perfect for fixing a race car. So that's what we're doing today. The long block is completely assembled at this point and we are ready to drop it into Keelface on this bad boy. I got the converter sitting in the truck over there. So we're gonna put the motor in today. We're gonna try and get the transmission bolted up to it with the converter installed and the cross member put in there. That way we can start figuring out what we need to do for the fuel system, because with the new BTR intake, some things have changed. So here we go. As you can see here, I have a 4150 style carburetor intake lift plate. I bought this at like a Good Guys auction for I think like 20 bucks from that like tool dude. If you drill the holes out on these and hog them out a little bit, you can go ahead and make these things fit on an LS Valley cover. And you can see I got it biased a little bit towards the front here because I have all the accessories bolted on this thing as well. This will pick up the motor and it'll leave it nice and level. Plus, it will still fit a Dominator or a 4150 style carburetor flange. So you don't have to go out and pay a whole bunch of money for somebody's LS specific lift plate. You can pay 20 bucks probably at your local parts store, Harbor Freight, or anywhere else. This particular one is even made here in the good old Indiana, kind of ish. For some reason this leg is wiggling more than I like. Here's a little bit of a life hack for you guys. If you have these cheap Harbor Freight engine hoists, they work great for the money. I have one. This is actually my neighbor's in particular, but if you end up losing the pins, because these pins will get lost like they often do, a 1/2 inch extension is the perfect fit to fit inside of these things. But for some reason, I got an extension on that side. I don't have one on this side, but this thing's like teetering to quite a bit. Why is that leaning so damn hard, dude? Is that my concrete? It's gotta be the concrete. We're going for it. Boom, there you go. It is installed. The GoPro died in the middle of the install process, but it's on there, bolted in. The motor mounts are tightened down. And I went ahead and threw in the turbo as well. I didn't video it, but I rebuilt this turbo using the turbo rebuild kit that I showed you a couple videos ago. Now it has a 360-degree thrust bearing. It's actually very, very easy to rebuild this. You just gotta make sure you mark the compressor wheel / nut directly to the shaft. And as long as you get those clocked back, you should be a-okay. I also rewrapped this because the last time I drag week, this thing got all torn up on the downpipe there. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go ahead and start just slapping everything on the front of this thing and get as far as I can. I'm gonna put the lower portion of the intake back on here and we're gonna start mocking up some fuel lines. I'm gonna put together a list of everything that I need to order. I'm gonna go ahead and climb underneath the car here. Climb? If climbing goes up, right? It insinuates you're going to the top. I'm gonna go crawl underneath the bottom of the car and go ahead and slam the transmission and the torque converter in this thing as well. Just to start buttoning up stuff. So this is gonna be like a little montage of me doing work. Here we go, ready, go. Hey Siri, pause my music. Holy crap, that worked. So here we are. Fast forward a few hours now. The motor is in, it is buttoned up. The turbo is remounted. I've rebuilt that entire turbo with a brand new thrust bearings all throughout, seals all throughout. It's got a 360-degree thrust in it now. And I also touched it up and set it up to look sexy with the gold. Man, I don't know how you guys feel about it. I'm sure it's not for everybody, but I really like the black and gold combo. I rewrapped my downpipe on there, got super itchy, didn't want to like do a video on that because it's header wrap, like it wasn't that big of a deal. And also the GoPro is charging. Other things that we got on here right now is let's slide underneath as I set my hand and a metal splinter. The guillotine transmission jack, Logan special. Logan has one of these and I'm trying to take my hands off when I went to his house in December. New converter is in. The converter is, we're checking the spacing on the thing. I literally put this transmission in and the converter in, check the spacing, and I was so distracted by stuff going on around me that I completely forgot to put the flex plate in. So I had to pull the transmission back out. Thankfully I didn't put the bolts in because the bolts with the transmission scatter shield, because this is a stock case 400, is a huge pain in the ass. Anyway, gotta make some shims to go right there between the converter and the flex plate. But everything on here is in. I gotta go ahead and put the transmission crossmember in and button everything underneath here. As you can see, a lot of little stuff, but it's pretty much all a bolt-in affair, with the exception of fuel lines and the cold side piping. That's the only thing that I have to like really figure out what is going on, and that's not a huge deal. It's only Wednesday, and I have Thursday, Friday, and Saturday to figure all that out. So my goal is to order up all the parts and hopefully have them by Friday or Saturday to put everything together to get this thing damn near ready to fire up. Minus the wiring of the Holley Terminator. That's the other thing. Completely forgot about that. There is not a damn ounce of wiring under the hood of this thing. Anyway, I got some work to do. God, would you look at this? Like the cherry on the top. Boop. That is amazing. A lot of progress has happened. I'm really bad about documenting this stuff. I really should turn the camera on while I'm doing it all. But sometimes I just get in a groove, you know what I mean? And this is the result. So just feast your eyes upon this. Like, this looks, oh man, I am so stoked on how this is coming together. And the cut to length sticker available very soon on claptop.com/store. You can go and get your own very, very soon. Okay, let's bring you up to speed where we're at now. New radiator is installed. The brackets have been welded onto that. The vacuum pump has been hooked up. This is a -16 on the Holley valve cover, so I got a 16 to 12 reducer and hooked the -12 suction line right to the pump. I relocated the catch can over here to free up some real estate down here, because you see where the charge pipe is? I'm gonna convert that little 3-inch guy to 3.5 all the way up to the throttle body. I wanna eliminate the restrictions as much as possible. I'm kind of on the fence about what is choking this thing out, whether I'm out of turbo or if the intercooler charge piping is becoming a restriction at the levels of boost I was running. I'm seeing over 200 degrees in intake temperatures, and I don't think this big girl was very happy with that. I don't think it's out of its range yet, but we might be close. So this is kind of a theory, we're testing it. Maybe the intercooler is a choke point, I don't know. But we'll eliminate one thing at a time. So what else are we doing? I'm gonna relocate the oil feed line from the back of the motor right there. I used to pull it right by the cam sensor, that oil port right there where the stock pressure sensor goes. I'm gonna put a stock pressure sensor back in there because the Holley Terminator X has the provisions for monitoring the oil pressure right there. So why mess with a good thing? And I can relocate this to a better place, which is gonna pull oil directly from above the oil filter. So it's cleaner, fresh oil, feeding the turbo. It's all good things, all positive. I gotta extend the fuel pressure connector to go to here. Oh, I gotta finish the coil pack sub harnesses, tidying those up, put those on, and then I get a set of plug wires made, or buy a set of plug wires. I don't know, I haven't figured that out yet, what I'm gonna do with that. But that's it for out here. Under the car, the Turbo 400 is completely in, back in. Man, I hope this comes through and buttoned up. I got the FTI deep sump pan put on there. That was not easy. I never had the pan off of that thing before. And the filter setup on a Turbo 400 is super janky at best. If you ever messed with one, that was my first time, and I thought for sure I was doing it wrong, which is very possible. Other things, you can see inside of the car, it looks like a tornado went off in here. It's just a spaghetti mess in here. So we're gonna fix the Italian noodle factory in here and finish up the wiring and the installation of the Holley Terminator X. And I gotta figure out where I'm gonna put that. I'm not sure. Kind of on the fence about that too. So everything in here is going to be super clean, super tidy. I'm actually going to be getting rid of all the analog gauges altogether. They're all going to go. I'm going to fill that, smooth the dash out. The only thing I'm going to have inside the car is going to be, I have a small LED shift light, and I'm going to do the Holley 7-inch screen, just like the blue car has right here. It's super clean, super sanitary. I love the way it looks. Support is coming from Holley here in the next few weeks for the 7-inch screen with the Terminator. It's not out yet, but I'm confident it'll be out hopefully by the time I'm ready to hit the button on this thing and start it up. So that's where we are today. I got some parts coming in. I'll be finishing up the charge piping in the next video and hopefully doing the wiring and hopefully getting these wheels off the powder coat and back and put on the car. And I got some other big stuff coming too. So I don't want to let that cat out of the bag until it happens and it's in my lap, because it's big news and I want to make that one just like mind blower, because when the opportunity fell in my lap, my mind was blown. Anyway, that's it. I'm out. Peace.